Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chapter 88.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The core strategic challenge here starts after the first capture, right?
Yeah.
Kongming makes what seems like a completely irrational move. He just releases Menghu, knowing full well the king will immediately restart his rebellion. I mean, that is an enormous strategic gamble. What's the logic behind this calculated risk?
Well, it's the central pillar of Kongming's whole southern strategy. See, brute force gives you temporary control, but it's never lasting peace.
Right, the moment the army leaves.
Exactly. The area just erupts again. Kongming's doctrine is famous. Jiang Fuqichin. Basically, it translates to, straight must subdue his heart, and naturally it will be pacified.
Subdue his heart?
Yeah, the goal isn't just political conquest. It's true. Lasting emotional and mental submission. To get there, Menghu has to be captured, shown mercy, released again and again, until he himself realizes resistance is futile.
So Menghu is essentially caught in this psychological loop he doesn't even understand yet. He's been given his freedom, and the first thing he has to do is, well, save face. How does he rally his scattered forces after that first release?
He pulls a classic operational security trick, really. He gathers the remaining remnants of his army. Our sources estimate about 100,000 scattered troops.
Wow, still quite a force.
Still significant, yeah. And he immediately lies about his escape. He doesn't mention Kongming's mercy at all.
Of course not.
He claims he killed over a dozen guards and stole a horse under cover of night. This story is critical. It turns him from a defeated captive into this cunning, resourceful hero for his people. It boosts their morale instantly.
Okay, that makes the troops more willing to fight, sure, but it doesn't solve the military problem. Meng Huo now thinks he understands Kongming's tricks, so he shifts away from direct attacks. What's his new strategy, this purely defensive long-term approach?
He commits fully to the Jingchuzi, which is basically the strategy of long-term defense, banking on environmental exhaustion. He genuinely believes distance and nature will defeat the Shu forces before he has to risk another big fight.
Okay.
His defense relies on three main elements.
Which are?
First, the natural barrier, the fast-flowing Lu River, the Lushiri. They immediately seize and hold every single boat and raft on the south bank.
Cut off the crossing?
Completely. Nothing gets across easily.
Yeah.
Second, massive fixed fortifications. They build this whole line of earth cities, Tangcheng serious structures with deep trenches, high walls, and these high observation towers, the Dilu. Right. And those are equipped with bows and catapults.
So he's building a real fortress line.
Exactly. And the third element, the environment itself. Meng Huo correctly believes the Shu forces, having marched so far, will just be crippled by the intense heat of the southern fifth month. He expects a severe climate alone to force Kongming into a humiliating retreat.
And the sources really emphasize this heat, don't they? It's a game changer.
Yeah.
The Shu soldiers apparently can't even wear their heavy armor. It's just too oppressive.
Yeah, Kongming has to prioritize basic survival over combat readiness just to keep the campaign going.
So how does he adapt initially?
He adapts quickly. He orders Liu Qimden to set up 4 major camps, about 100 that's maybe 30 miles away from the river. And crucially, he moves them deep into heavily forested, shady areas.
Trying to beat the heat.
They build extensive glass sheds to shade both the soldiers and, very importantly, the war horses, just trying to stave off heat exhaustion.
But waiting in the woods, even if it's shady, that raises immediate concerns, right? General Jing En voices a very reasonable fear, drawing on, well, recent history.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fear born from trauma. Jing Min sees those scattered wooden camps and immediately thinks back to Liu Bei's devastating defeat at Yiling.
The fire attack.
Fire attack by Eastern Wu. They exploited a very similar setup. He essentially warns Kongming, look, you are setting us up for a repeat disaster here.
Okay, wait. Isn't dismissing that concern unbelievably arrogant? Especially after what happened to Liu Bei. Why should Kongming just trust his own excellent plan over sound historical precedent and the worries of his generals?
Well, it would be arrogant if you were dismissing the danger entirely. But Kongming seems to be relying on 2 things. First, a deep operational confidence that Meng Hu won't try a fire attack. Perhaps knowing Meng Hu is now totally committed to that long-term defense, not a risky offensive. And second, the fact that he already has a deep flanking strategy in mind. That's why he just kind of smiles and says he has his Miao Swan, his excellent plan. He's a step ahead, or thinks he is.
And this plan gets its necessary resources when Meng Qide shows up. He brings 3,000 fresh troops, medicine, food.
Right. Kongming decides to deploy these fresh, unwearied troops immediately. The goal is to flank Meng Huo's seemingly impregnable river defense. The orders are simple on paper. Mengge must cross the Luva River about 150 livres downstream at a place called Shaknu.
Okay.
Then cut the enemy's supply line at the source. It sounds straightforward. Long march, river crossing. But this is exactly where Kongming's, let's say, external perspective clashes violently with dangerous local environmental knowledge.
So this simple river crossing, the intended tactical breakthrough, it turns into a disaster.
Yeah.
Proving Meng Huo's reliance on the environment wasn't actually misplaced.
Oh, it was horrific. Because the river looked shallow and the soldiers were exhausted by the heat, many just disrobed and started wading across naked, thinking they'd just dry off on the other side. They were maybe halfway across when men just started collapsing, bleeding from the nose and mouth, dying instantly. It was a complete failure.
Wow.
It proved the river wasn't just a barrier, it was a deadly, actively poisonous defense.
That is the cost of strategic ignorance right there. Kongming just lost men due to a chemical or biological hazard he didn't anticipate.
Right.
This is that moment where strategy shifts from grand theory to urgent, hyper-local adaptation.
Absolutely. Kongming realizes his lack of local knowledge almost just crippled the entire campaign. He immediately consults local guides.
And what do they say?
They explain the terrifying mechanism of the river. It's not the water itself that kills during the daytime. It's the intense southern heat. It causes toxins, they called it duqi, poisonous gas, to rise from the water's surface. Anyone exposed gets overwhelmed.
That is genuinely counterintuitive. They weren't drowning. They were basically poisoned by the air and the spray.
Exactly.
So what's the specific life-saving local knowledge? How do you cross it?
The solution is incredibly precise. The only safe time to cross is at midnight.
Midnight.
Why? Because the water gets cold and the poison gas subsides, sinks back down. And furthermore, and this detail is so specific, the local guides insist the soldiers must cross on a full stomach.
Huh. Any idea why?
The sources don't elaborate, but it suggests maybe some kind of metabolic protection or just ensuring strength. Whatever the reason, it shows the immense value of relying on expert non-military intelligence. You know, the people who actually live there.
That insight turns this deadly fixed barrier into a navigable path, but only if you obey nature's specific rules. So Ma Dai gets a second chance using this night-crossing full-stomach method.
He does. And this time it's a resounding success. He takes 2,000 of his strongest soldiers, uses rafts to minimize water contact, crosses under cover of night at Shahayu, and crucially, the local guides lead them straight to the heart of Meng Huo's logistics network.
Which leads them directly to that critical choke point, Jishanyu.
Yeah, this passage is vital. The sources describe it as extremely narrow-like, only enough room for one man or one horse to pass through at a time.
Perfect ambush spot.
Perfect ambush spot. Ma Dai seizes the passage, sets up, and just waits for the supply convoy. They capture over 100 carts of grain. Meng Huo's logistics lifeline is just severed.
And while the surgical strike is happening to his supply chain, where is the king? What's Meng Huo doing?
He is, according to the sources, drunk and celebrating, operating with complete operational blindness.
You're kidding.
His arrogance is his undoing. He'd actually been warned that Shakim was a potential weak point, but he just laughed it off. He was supremely confident in the river's deadliness, and maybe just as importantly confident that his own people would never betray him by revealing the secrets of the poison river or the crossing method.
That overconfidence let him ignore military affairs.
Yeah.
Get drunk instead of being vigilant.
Pretty much. So when the news finally hits that the supplies are cut, he still underestimates the threat, dismisses Ma Dai as just some small-time figure. He sends his vice general, Meng Ya-chung, with 3,000 troops to clear the passage.
And how does that go?
Badly for Meng Ya-chung. He quickly learns Ma Dai is anything but small time. In their very first clash, Ma Dai kills the vice general. Just like that.
One encounter.
One encounter that finally confirms to Meng Huo that this is a serious threat. He's forced to escalate.
And this sets the stage for the real psychological phase of the conflict, doesn't it? Meng Huo sends Deng Tuna and Ahuinan. These are two tribal chiefs who had both been captured and then released by Kongming earlier.
Yes, and this is exactly where Kongming's initial clemency starts paying serious dividends. Ma Dai intercepts Deng Tuna's forces and doesn't even bother fighting him initially.
What does he do?
He just stops and launches an assault of public humiliation. He publicly shouts, basically calling Deng Tuna a faithless, ungrateful fellow for betraying Kongming's mercy. He points out, Kongming gave you your life, gave you your freedom, and now you repay that favor by fighting his army.
That is such a powerful moment. What does Deng Tuna do?
He's covered in shame. He can't answer the charge. He just retreats without fighting a single engagement. The debt of clemency proves more powerful than a sword in that moment.
But Meng Huo, he doesn't get this, does he? He fails to understand this complex psychological debt.
Not at all. He only sees treason and cowardice. He is instantly enraged, accuses Deng Tuna of selling out because Kongming was nice to him once.
Oh, yeah.
He tries to execute him right there on the spot. Other chiefs plead for his life. Meng Huo relents, but orders Deng Tuna to be beaten 100 strokes.
That beating, that's the critical tipping point, isn't it? It confirms to every chief in that camp that, okay, even after receiving Kongming's calculated mercy, Meng Huo's volatile, potentially fatal temper is still the biggest danger in the room.
Exactly. The other tribal leaders, the ones who'd also received clemency, they immediately rally around the injured Deng Tuna. They realize two things very clearly. First, Kongming's power is immense. I mean, if major leaders like Cao Cao and Sun Quan fear him, what chance do they have? And second, Meng Huo's arbitrary violence against his own people makes him a greater threat than the calculating Shu commander they're facing. They resolve not just to abandon him, but to actively remove him from command, to save their own people from more suffering.
And so the capture is orchestrated internally by the very men Kongming had deliberately spared earlier.
Yep. Deng Tuna leads over 100 conspirators right into Meng Huo's camp. And true to form, Meng Huo is heavily drunk in his tent.
Of course he is.
But the moment of capture itself highlights how Kongming's strategy has really been internalized. Two other generals are standing guard. They also owe Kongming their lives from previous encounters. They intervene.
What do?
They insist that Deng Tuna should not kill Meng Huo. They must capture him alive and present him to Kongming.
Wow. So the goal isn't revenge, it's strategic submission, following Kongming's own objective.
Precisely. They bind the heavily drunk Meng Huo, take him across the Lu River to the north bank, and inform Kongming, the second capture. Which, as you said, wasn't really a military win at all.
Not in the traditional sense, no.
Kongming, using his spies, his fine work, as the sources put it, already knew some of Meng Huo's own people were turning against him. He knew Deng Tuna and Huinan planned to hand him over.
That's right. The sources detail Kongming giving secret orders before these chiefs even showed up. And when they bring Meng Huo in, tied up, Kongming showers them with rewards, reassurances.
That keeps them separate.
Yeah, which is fascinating. He keeps them away from the main camp. It really seems like he expected Meng Huo might, go after them if he got loose again. Foresight.
So Meng Huo gets dragged before Kongming. Second time, asked again to submit, but still, absolute defiance, wasn't it? He wouldn't give Kongming credit.
Not at all. He just dismisses it. Says it was basically just self-infighting. A failure of his own guys.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with Kongming's strategy.
So he's calling it a fluke, meaning Kongming's goal breaking that spirit, it failed again, utterly.
Right. And so Kongming does the unthinkable. Again.
He lets him go. But first, this extraordinary persuasion attempt. He personally takes Meng Huo out on horseback. For a tour?
A tour of the whole Shu camp. It's like a master class in showing your strength without attacking.
Like a factory tour for a rival CEO, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't just parade soldiers. He pointed out Shu's economic power, the logistics. He showed him these, staggering amounts of grain, weapons piled up, the discipline of the troops.
The implied message being,
Look at all this. Look at the organization, the resources. How can you possibly defeat this?
Meng Huo must have been stunned, visually at least, but he still couldn't just surrender, could he? Not without losing face completely.
Exactly. He admits he's impressed, but insists his people were not yet convinced. He asks to go back to his base, his cave, he says, to recruit, pacify his forces.
And Kongming agrees, knowing full well what's likely to happen.
Oh, absolutely. He gives him food, wine, even an escort back to the Lu River. But there's a warning this time, a chilling one.
What was it?
He basically says, if you're captured again and you still refuse to submit, there won't be any light punishment next time.
Yeah.
He's ramping up the psychological pressure, making the cost of failing again potentially unbearable.
But this benevolence, it just backfires, doesn't it? It seems to just fuel Meng Huo's pride, his humiliation.
It leads straight to violence. Brutal retaliation.
Yeah.
She wasn't grateful. He was deeply shamed by it.
So what does he do?
He gets back and immediately uses this, despicable trick. Sends trusted guys to lure Dong Tuna and Huinin back to his camp.
Under false pretenses.
Yeah, pretending it's an official message from Kongming. Once he has them, he kills them both, dumps the bodies. It just shows you the kind of volatility, the ruthlessness Kongming was dealing with.
Trying to tame that.
Oh, wow.
And yet, even after that brutality, his first counterattack plan fails?
Completely. He mobilizes forces to hit Ma Dai, but discovers the Shu army's already pulled back. They've recrossed the Lu River.
Frustrating his immediate plans. It's like Kongming is always one step ahead.
Always reacting, never successfully initiating.
Yeah.
That's the message Kongming is sending.
Okay, so Meng Hu needs a new plan. Phase 2 begins.
Right. He realizes open battle isn't working. Direct betrayal by his own men isn't an option now. So he talks with his brother, Meng Yu. They cook up something sophisticated.
A false surrender, using deception against the master strategist himself.
That's the idea. Meng Yu takes about 100 troops across the river, and they're carrying this huge tribute gold, ivory, rhino horn treasures.
Selma's story.
Yeah, claiming Meng Hu has gone off to some distant mine to get even more treasure for the emperor. It's a big distraction play.
But waiting for a false surrender? Isn't that incredibly risky? What if Kongming's intel was wrong, letting potential assassins right into the camp?
Well, that's the tension. Right, that's what makes it brilliant. Kongming wasn't guessing. He seemed absolutely certain.
How so?
When Meng Yu arrives, Kongming turns to his advisor, Ma Su, asks him to write down what he thinks Meng Hu's really up to. They compare notes and laugh. Their assessments matched perfectly. They knew it was a fake surrender plot designed for infiltration. Kongming was basically using Meng Hu's own desperation against him. Predictable desperation.
So the trap gets set immediately. Kongming sends out orders, right? Secret coordinated orders to key generals.
Yep. Zhao Yun, Wei Yan, Wang Ping, Ma Zhong, Guan Suo, each given specific roles. Securing the mountain pass, the river crossing, the flanks. They leave instantly to set up ambushes.
And the scene inside the camp, Kongming sets quite a stage.
Oh, it's magnificent theater. Meng Yu's men are described really vividly. Big, strong guys. Blue eyes and black faces, yellow hair and purple beards, gold earrings.
Sounds intimidating.
Definitely. And Kongming welcomes them to this grand feast, treats them with this, over-the-top courtesy, almost exaggerated.
But the courtesy had a sting in its tail.
A very sharp one. Kongming assigns Ma Su and another general, Lu Kai, to keep the wine flowing for the barbarians.
Wine that wasn't just wine.
Exactly. It was laced with a strong drug. The whole group, Meng Yu included, just passes out cold. The text says they look drunk dead. It shows Kongming isn't just fighting a moral war here. He's fighting an information war.
How do you mean?
By drugging them. Yeah, he neutralizes the immediate threat, but more importantly, he sends a message back to Meng Huo. There's no secret I can't uncover, no plan I can't penetrate. It destroys any remaining trust Meng Hu might have had in his own schemes.
That confirmation was needed because Meng Hu was already on his way.
Already outside, yes. He charges in with his main force, 30,000 men, carrying fire materials, planning this massive arson attack.
Only to find
An eerily empty camp. He gets to the main tent, finds his brother, all his men, just completely unconscious. The shock, the realization of how badly he'd been played must have been horrifying.
He knew he was trapped.
And the ambush springs immediately. Overwhelming force from all sides. Wang Ping hits the center, Wei Yan on the left, Zhao Yun on the right.
Just total chaos for Meng Hu's forces.
He's forced to flee, alone. Runs towards the Lu River, his only escape route.
And Kongming has one last trick waiting.
The perfect final snare. At the riverbank, Meng Hu spots a small boat, manned by guys who look like his own tribal soldiers, his last hope.
He gets on board.
And the soldiers immediately reveal themselves. It's Mo Dai and his men, disguised. They grab him, bind him instantly.
Oh. He didn't just lose. He ran from a land ambush straight into a water trap set just for him, utterly outmaneuvered.
Completely.
So now we're at the third post-capture scene. Meng Hu and his brother Meng Yu drag before Kongming again after the poisoning, the ambush, the boat trap. Surely now.
Oh, still defiant? Meng Hu actually blames the failure on his brother's greed and, well, the poisoning. He's still clinging to his pride, refusing to admit defeat came from strategy.
Still won't submit. That level of pride. It's like a fortress, as you said. He just won't accept that Kongming outthought him, only that his own side failed him.
Which is precisely why Kongming moves to phase 3. Humiliation through showing overwhelming presence, followed by, yet again, clemency.
He lets him go, a third time. But this release is different, you said.
Yeah, it comes with, a strategic debriefing. Kongming tells him point blank, Study tactics, use sound strategy. It makes it absolutely crystal clear. Get caught a fourth time, refuse to submit. That's it. Execution, no more chances.
And the walk away from camp, the walk of shame, that was part of the strategy too.
Oh, absolutely. Designed to psychologically crush any lingering hope. As Meng Huo retreats, he's forced to pass through territory that was his, now totally controlled by Shu forces.
A visual display of Kongming's dominance.
Completely. Mo Dai is there, guarding the river crossing, watching him leave. Zhao Yun, he's already taken over Meng Huo's main camp. A reminder, you have no safe base left.
And there was more.
Yes. Wei Yan is up on a nearby slope, holding the key mountain pass with 1,000 elite soldiers. Everywhere Meng Huo looks, it's Kongming's banners flying over his old strongholds.
The message isn't just, I beat you.
No, it's, I own this now. I control your space, and I am choosing to let you walk through it.
That almost makes the mercy feel cruel. Like Kongming is just toying with him, showing total control.
It's a powerful psychological tool. Afterwards, Kongming gathers his own generals, explains the bigger picture.
He tells them he planned for Meng Huo to see the supplies, to bait the fire attack.
Exactly. He stresses he intentionally showed that vulnerability, knowing it would lure Meng Huo into the fire attack plan, and anticipated the brothers' deception. He knew his enemies' moves before they were made.
So this is the core of it, the long-term political thinking.
Precisely. Kongming explained, look, I captured him 3 times, not to kill him, but to subdue his heart, not destroy his kind.
The political math beat.
A loyal, self-governing ally, like a subdued Meng Huo could be, is far cheaper, far more stable for Shu's southern border than a devastated region needing constant troops, constant money.
His generals praised his wisdom, benevolence, and courage, right? Seeing the blend.
They did. He combined that moral high ground with undeniable military superiority. He was essentially offering Meng Huo a choice. Submit, rule your people peacefully under Shu's authority, or keep fighting me, someone who anticipates everything you do until you and your people are destroyed.
It seems like an obvious choice.
You'd think so. But here's the massive twist. Even after that walk of shame, that display of total dominance, Meng Huo's spirit, still not broken.
What happens?
The immediate result isn't submission, it's rage. His pride is just incandescent. The sources say he immediately sends out envoys, treasurers, everything, to 80 prefectures, 93 regions.
To do what?
To gather tens of thousands of fresh troops. Well-equipped tribal forces, these fearsome, bladed-axe savage troops. He's planning a massive, coordinated counterattack.